Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh Ji. Welcome to another session of Coach Gurbani. Ravinder Singh here, joining you from Columbus. Um, Today we are going to dwell on the last passage of Sodar, and it is Munavani Mahalla Panjama. There are two Shabads here. I'm not sure how time will go, but the idea is to complete both of them. What I will do is present to you the generally prevailing interpretations of what Mundamani is. Uh, Maybe talk a little bit about um, the background here of the word itself and what it might mean. I'm sure I won't be saying anything that you haven't heard already, but just to set the context for a discussion, that I think is the more important thing done. And so, with that, let me just begin by reading out the passages. Hanji, Mundavani Mahalla Panjwa, Thal vich tinn vasatu paio, Sat Santokh Vicharo, Amrit Naam Thakur ka payo, Jiska Sabs Adharo, Jeko Khave, Jeko Punche, Tiska Hoy Udharo. Eh वस्त तजी नह जाई नित नित रख उर धारो तम संसार चरण लग तरिए सब नानक ब्रह्म पसारो. And the second one is Salok Mahalla Panjwa. Tera kita jato nahi, मैनो जोग की तोई, मैं निर्गुणियारे को गुण नाही, आपे तरस प्योई, तरस पया महरामत होई, सतगुर सज्जन मिलया, नानक नाम मिले ता जीवा, तन मन थीवै हरिया. So these are the passages. So we'll start with Mundavani Mahalla Panjama first. Um, so let me very quickly read out an English translation of the Mundavani passage. The translation is really not mine, but it reflects the common popular view or message of Mundavani. And so here goes. It says, on the platter are placed three things: reflect on the truth and the contentment. The ruler's immortal Naam is also placed on it. It is the support of all. If someone eats and savors it, that one is emancipated. This thing can't be forsaken. Every day keep it in the heart. Nanak, cross the dark, ignorant world ocean. In feet surrender. All is the transcendence expanse. So I picked this translation. It's somebody I know, but I won't name the person. I find it very interesting that he's coined some phrases like "feet surrender" is one word here with a hyphen in there. But nonetheless, the I have in front of me here a book called Mundavani in Punjabi. It's by Gyani Gurdit Singh, and he actually wrote a book with that title. He had a different purpose. I mean, his purpose was to actually prove that Mundavani was the actual end of the Guru Granth Sahib, and was obviously questioning Ragmala. So he had a different purpose, but nonetheless, the interesting thing about him is that he actually compiled the different interpretations that have come down to us from, I guess, the time, the sort of almost the Guru period, all the way down to now, 40 odd interpreters, starting with people like Parimani Singh, Santokh Singh, a lot of names that I don't even know, Gyani Gyan Singh, Soba Singh Dilwali. I'm just reading them out for for Pai Veer Singh, Gyani Badan Singh Farid Koti, Gyani Bishan Singh, Sodi Teja Singh. And then he comes down to Principal Teja Singh, the English interpreters, Bawa Kishan Singh, Dr. Ernst Trump, McAuliffe, Professor Harbans Singh, and more recently, Gurbachan Singh Talib, Dr. Gopal Singh, and Menomonee Singh. So Actually, if you look at all of these translations, the meaning is not very dissimilar from the one that has been provided here in the translation that I read to you. So, having put that translation to the side, I just wanted to also talk a little bit to set the context on what really Madhavni, what the word means, where it comes from. So we know, all of us know, that it is this passage is an integral part of the Guru Granth Sahib, and every time a complete reading is done, it always concludes with Mudavani. It's also part of Sodar, and that's where we are considering it. So it is in the textual context, in the history of especially sacred texts, scripture, the establishment of a seal, because that is one of the meanings in English of what Mudavani might mean. The other is a riddle, but let me just talk about the sealing of documentation. This is a fairly well established practice in not only India, but in all parts of the world. Even the Bible, there is the book of Revelation, which has seven seals, and so on. So, but just to sort of understand that sealing of documentation for authenticity was a very, and security and ownership was a very common practice. It also has a different meaning. It also means the sealing of utensils for royalty. It used to be the practice that royalty in South Indian traditions, and in other traditions, kings would have their food, their food tasters, to make sure that it wasn't poisoned or whatever. So you had that practice. Even that's called madhavni. Those people were referred to with the same term. So the point is, for our purpose, it means authentication. It also means it means closure, because in sacred texts there is this belief that the truth that these sacred texts contain is usually sealed or hidden, that it is not readily visible, that it has to be churned out. And along with the idea of a seal, mundana band karna, is also the idea that it is a riddle, it's a mystery, it is a special kind of code that requires the interpretation and the effort of the reader. So, in other words, there is hidden in here some sort of cryptic code that has to be uncovered. It also signifies authenticity, it tells you who the owner is, and so on. So, that really is the meaning of the word itself, as I've understood it. Um, I want to start the discussion with just a couple of points. So I have also, when I look at this, I've also heard other interpretations, which I want to sort of throw out there. I'm not married to any one particular interpretation. I think I'm still trying to figure it out. But there is also an interpretation that does not consider the thin here to be three. Um, Rather, it suggests that the thin here is referring to the contributors of the Guru Granth Sahib. So Thal, which thin, meaning their thing, their vastu, paio, is here. And so I will see how the discussion goes. So I'm just throwing this out there, that there is that meaning as well. So we need to sort of figure out if this kind of makes sense or not. And then the other thing that I want to just lay out before I open it up to discussion, I don't want to go on, but there is a very similar passage in Gurbani from the pen of the third Guru, Guru Amar Das, on page 645. And it reads remarkably alike. And I'll just give you a flavor of it. It's Salok Mahalla Tija, Thale vich te vastu payo. हर भोजन अमृत सार जित खादे मन तृप्तिये पाइये मोक द्वार यह भोजन अलभ है again he's talking about it is hidden यह भोजन अलभ है संतो सभे ਲੱਭੇ ਗੁਰ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਇਹ ਮੁਧਾਵਨੀ ਕਿਉਂ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਕੱਢੀਏ ਸਦਾ ਰੱਖੀਏ ਉਰਦਾਰ ਇਹ ਮੁਧਾਵਨੀ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਪਾਈ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਲੱਦੀ ਪਾਲ meaning again Mudavni here is being used in the sense of a riddle, and the riddle is solved, the mystery is solved only through the guru. I think that much we have all learned so far, right? That the guru is the agency through which we are going to solve the riddle that is in this scripture that we call the Guru Granth Sahib. So those are some of the things that I wish we can consider. I don't know which way you guys are leaning, whether you think there are three things, whether you think it is referring to one. And I kind of have my leanings, but I won't reveal them right now. I'm sort of leaning, but I will see where you people are going, whether you consider this tinn to be three or whether you think this is their vastu. I'm no grammarian, but I still feel that you can look at it somewhat differently as well. So that said, let's open up the discussion. Chetandeep Singh ji,
Anji, thank you for sharing your thoughts on this Shabad.
very scattered.
Right. So, I mean, again, just to address the particular point of, as you referred 10 as 3 or refers to something else, uh, there is a lot of evidence in Guru Granth Sahib when it says Sat Santokh Vajay Doe Tal. So, Sat and Santokh word come together a lot of times, and
Mhm.
they are referred to as both the things that are basically supporting our universe or our existence.
Can you repeat that? I lost you.
No, so all I was saying, like Sat and Santok, they come together many times in Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and for example, Shabads like Sat Santok Vajay Doe Tal, or a lot of these Shabads which indicate that Sat and Santok are two things that are supporting the existence of our universe. But again, looking at the whole Shabad, I think the Vastu here referred to is the Naam, and that's the only like one thing that is referred, not as three things, but they could be that Vastu could be, for lack of better word, attained by pursuing Sat and Santok, right? So that's where I'm leaning. But uh, what I want to share is I want to maybe digress a bit and share my something personal that happened with me this week in the spirit of sharing something personal. And last week when we were talking about this Pankaj Mo Pag Nahi Chale, right? And this time when we are talking about this Shabad, Amrit Naam Thakur Ka Paio, so it evokes a thought in me that, and it has always been my struggle, as in how to practically embed this Naam in my life or how to practically pursue this Naam. So this week I had an opportunity to examine myself uh, where I was talking to a friend and something happened and like he didn't share something with me that he should share. So I started feeling a bit negative and being weighed down by all the emotions that come during this time. And then at that exact moment, the Shabad came to my head that we discussed last time, Pankaj Mo Pag Nahi Chale. And I realized that my whole life I have been kind of stuck in this sludge of expectations, right? And if I want to get this naam that is inside me, the vastu that is inside me, then I basically need to let it go. I need to just let that feeling of control or let that having expectations from other people, just let it go. And I don't know, again, it's a long journey towards naam, but that is definitely something that kind of I felt too at that moment. And I had this realization. I I felt very uh, free at that moment of the weight of expectations, and I think that's what Guru Pacha is talking, especially in the next Shabad when he says, uh, "Tera tika jato nahi maine jo koi," in the sense of surrendering, like surrendering, just letting it go. I do have some questions regarding the next Shabad, but I'm not sure if we are doing both of them right now. But I'll give it back to you.
Thank you. I got interrupted. Sorry. But thank you for sharing. In the spirit of self-revelation. Um, and I think that you and I talked about this. So let me go to Dilpreet Singh. Hanji, Dilpreet Singh ji. So I asked Chetandeep, to parse out the first line because, as I said, the overwhelming interpretations refer to three, and yet it is talking about one vastu. Because if you look at Guru Amar Das's Shabad, he's talking about Naam essentially, and that is the vastu, right? So share with us what you think.
And so this reminds me that at the end, I think it was the style that okay, whenever you're writing something, at the end, the main message or the main punchline will come. Because if we read Japji Sahib, then at the end it comes the Jat Pahara Tirasan Yar Mat Ved Hatyar. And then because it gives us the whatever the teaching in Japji Sahib, it looks like it is summarized into those lines. So I get a similar feeling here because now it is at the end of the Guru Granth Sahib Ji. So I get the similar feeling that Thal, which in Vastupiyo, that Thal is considered as Guru Granth Sahib. It is talking about Guru Granth Sahib. That in this is what is being given to you. So I agree with both things that if you can say these are the three things, or this has been given to you, or this is the main gist of it, which is Sat Santok and Vicharo. Again, it reminds me of the other Shabad. It says, Sach Ure Sabko Upar Sach Achar. So it is the same message, kind of message I am getting here when it says Amrit Naam Thakur Ka Paio Jiska Sab Sadharo. So I think both the meanings are correct, and I allude towards that okay, this is what is presented in Guru Granth Sahib. That once you understand the message and you discuss it, then Amrit Naam Thakur Ka Payo Jiska Sabd Udharo is that Sach Ure Sabko Upar Sach Achar. And then Jeko Khave Jeko Punche Tiska Hoy Udharo, that okay, that one till unless you digest it, it is not reflected in your behaviors, in your achar, it does not make any difference. So that's how I take it with.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, thank you. I kind of was struck by the word vicharo because it seems to me that this then is the thought process of those who have contributed to this Bani, right? I mean, so it is actually a riddle, and so we are expected to engage with that thought process in some way. I mean, sort of churn the meaning out. Thank you. Let me see. Hanji Gurdeep Singh Vir ji,
Anji, Sat Sri Akal ji.
Sat Sri Akal ji.
I take this exactly as an answer or the explanation of Slok Mahalla Tija, Thale Vitra Baste Payo. Because there it mentioned, E Mudavani Satgur Pai, Gur Sikha Laddi Pahal. Guru Sikh, Sikh Guru, Hai Eko, Guru Upadesh Chalai. This side, this the authenticity of, but the Guru and Sikh is the one, not two in this case. And Guru Arjan Dev Ji put title as Mundavani, which means related to Mundavani there. Their title is only Slok Mahalla Tija. But it mentioned there, Mundavani Satgur Pai Gur Sikha Laddi Pal. To me, it's not the final end. It's not the stamp like some people, you mentioned me, or I have read it a couple of places. There's me the final stamp. No, nobody can put the final stamp on the Gurbani, even the Gurus. That's why people are running after that Rag Mala. It's there, it should be there. It's not just complicated. Make the whole issue complex. I think this is the explanation here, but Slok Mahalla Tija said, as you mentioned before, and then he still showed I am the lowest of the lowest. Tera kita jato nahi. Slok Mahalla Panjama. Tera kita jato nahi. Menu jo katoi. Menu gunare kundi koi. Ape tars pe hoi. Tars pe mehramat hoi. Satgur sajjan milya. Nanak naam milita jeeva. Tan man thive hare. Actually, whole Guru Sahib is talking about now. Without now, nothing. If we don't achieve that, so we have not succeeded to the success or not to the top of the story. We haven't. everything is related to now. Here at one place, Guru Tegh Bahadur says, Sarvan Gobind Gun Suno or Gao Rasana Geet. That means the poison which we eat with the tongue, with the mouth. Here says the poison is Ude Gun Gane. The khana kime, how to eat it? Through our ears. The puchana kime in the with the surti. There are three things involved. So this is all can understand. Just that give me sense. Otherwise, if we say, oh, this is the final, Menomonee is a riddle. Even it was a custom in the northeast frontier, northwest frontier, Porto Hall, whenever the bride and bridegroom, they meet for the first time, the marriage time, then the girls go together around the groom and they cover a plate, of course. They put something there to eat and they ask the groom, can you find it, what is there? So this is related to the culture. Then he has to tell or he has to guess and all that. So I think it's related to more of the culture, plus the question by the third guru, answered by the fifth guru. And it's not the end, it's not the stamp. I don't buy that. I know I read a little bit of the book what you mentioned by Gurdit Singh Menomonee. So anyway, my opinion.
Yeah, Viji, I don't think there was any suggestion that it is the stamp of that it is the final stamp.
I know
I
people
was stressing it is the authentication.
no,
That
you're
is-
right. I agree. But
this is
Gurbani,
an authentication, and that doesn't mean finality.
because other places says, Cho Jug mein Amrit Sachi Bani, Pure Pagar Nam Samani. We cannot find the beginning of the Gurbani.
Hanji, because
We
this is a
cannot talk
riddle
about the
that
end of Gurbani. I
we
think
have to,
my
each one of
personal
us
opinion.
has to solve it, Viji. It is
Okay,
not
thank you
something
very
that
much.
is handed to you. Hanji, let me see who
Thank
I
you.
have. Kulwant Kaur Penji.
हाँ जी विजय like health travel Fateh ji.
Hanji, Fateh ji.
Sad, I think I consider these three words Sat Santok Vicharo. For Vicharo, I am thinking as divine wisdom, and I feel like uh, Sat Santok and divine wisdom is within us. Thal is our own heart. It's within us. And on top, above all, is the Amrit Naam. When we start contemplating on Naam, then we are displayed with Santok, and we realize that, and we get the divine wisdom. And also, something very fascinating is the last line, Kam Sansar, Charan Lag Tariye, Sab Nanak Brahm Sachare. Once we when we start contemplating on Nam and we realize the truth and we get the divine wisdom, only then we can, move through the Tam Sansar. Tam is like dark pitch world. In darkness, we cannot see anything. We stuck. We stumble upon things. Stumbling for me, as I'm realizing, are the resentments or sometimes, as Chetan said, we get stuck on things. When we see the light, through Guru's, when we Waheguru ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਚਰਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਹਾਂ, and then we start to realize that, we start stumbling upon things and we start realizing that this whole, everything is manifestation of Waheguru or Akal Purush, that's how I feel it.
Hanji, thank you, Ji. Thank you very much. I just wanted to quickly share. When I looked at this, I was sort of asking myself why Santokh of all things is sort of standing out here. And my mind sort of went to the passage from the 16th Pauri, on which I've been stuck for a long time. Thal dharam daya ka poot Santokh thap rakhya jin soot. And I realized that Santokh then is the basis for being in Hukam. Yeah,
Yes.
so basically, that is the chief quality being talked about here. I figured that this was really tied to because their hukam is has been mentioned as taram, dal taram, daya kaput, and taram is hukam there. but santokh is the necessary condition. Santokh thap rakhya jinsu. And so I was thinking that this is perhaps the central sort of the point being made here, that the thought process that you have in here will bring you this fulfillment, santokh. And then, of course, there is the sat that goes along with it. So this probably means that you will get santokh that is real and not temporary. That it is santokh that is everlasting. But anyway, that's how I was trying to figure this out. But as I said, I'm still trying to figure this out. I don't have the answers. Anji Rana Veerji, let's go to you.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
Hanji.
Uh, I like your detailed uh, summary from various individuals. Uh, so after listening to you and what I had in mind before, I am a very confused state of mind.
Join the
And
club.
let me share. Uh, what I initially thought was when I compared the fifth line, A was taji na jai, and then I compared the first line, Thal tinn vastu paio. Somebody should help me understand. In the first word, there's the lankar. In the second one is a onkar. So does it mean there's reference to three different things in the first line, or is it one thing as identified in fifth line? So I would like to get that clarification from some expert, somebody who knows grammatical approach to Gurbani. Coming back to the line here, what I thought was, Guru Sahib, when I heard you say that there's an alternate interpretation where thin is referred to Akal Purakh, Thal is thin vastu
No,
payo.
ten is being referred to the contributors of Guru Granth Sahib, to the Bhagats, the people who have contributed. Tin, onadi,
Okay, fair enough.
onadi vastu. So vastu here, if you take it in that sense, it becomes singular.
Yes, if you
And that is supported by Guru Amar Das's. So, because, I mean, even if you think in common sense, I mean, the Guru Granth Sahib is really talking about one thing, and that is Naam,
Naam,
which
yes,
is,
this is because that becomes clear in the second line. So
yeah,
my direction changed. I thought Guru Sahib is referring to Naam because in the second line, Guru Sahib, that's my understanding, anyways. In the second line, he clarifies what Vastu he's talking about,
right.
and that Vastu Naam
Mhm.
has to be, we have to reflect on that in Vicharna truthfully and with patience. And
Mhm.
that is how we the Gurbani. The question is the Gurbani no we are to get that thing distilled out, which is Nam, which is a Vastu, which is as you said, Artane, because of his their efforts, whatever they brought this Gurbani and put that one in. So Nam is that Vastu which is being referred in the first line, and then the fifth line, Guru Sahib say exactly is referring back to the Naam. I think the whole thing is about Naam,
Of
and if
course.
I look at that way, the thing is what you said might be the alternate approach, not three different things, but is reference to the Bhagats that they have put that one in through Gurbani with their wisdom, which they brought from Anhad Nadin through came in, and that's what it is. That's how I think about it.
Hanji, thank you, Viji. It is an interesting kind of parsing of the first line, because at the end of the day, it really doesn't make a difference as far as I'm concerned, because galte naam diyo hi ho rahi hai, right? And you need to reflect on it in order to sort of absorb the message, assimilate the message. The terms are terms of eating, but obviously you're not eating physical food here. So at the end of the day, however you want to parse the first line, I think the message is quite clear, that you need to really churn out the message or the riddle that is inside of this message. Um, Thank you, Ji. And Benji,
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ
Fateh Ji.
um, to me I was thinking about it like it's immaterial. Tinn the meaning dono passe janda hoya dista. I never thought of it in the other context. Ki it's in the other context. I always thought three, but that also sounds suitable. It's immaterial. What is important is take the message. The message is Sat Santok Vicharo. ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੰਤੋਖ is the basic.
Ajini, I just threw that in just so that we could have some mental gymnastics.
Yeah, ਉਹੀ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਥੋੜਾ mental gymnastic ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਗਾ.
ਚੰਗਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਦੀ ਕਦੀ.
It's okay ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਭਾਈ ਵੀਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਮਨ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਹੈ ਭਟਕਣਾ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਆਸ-ਪਾਸ ਭਟਕਦਾ ਰਹੇ ਤੇ it's okay.
ਨਹੀਂ, it keeps your thought process clean also. So ਹਾਂਜੀ, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
ਹਾਂਜੀ. ਸੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਆਸ-ਪਾਸ ਹੀ ਭਟਕਦਾ ਰਹੇ ਤੇ ਚੰਗਾ ਹੈ.
ਨਹੀਂ, ਉੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਭਟਕ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ
ਮਾਇਆ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਭਟਕੇਗਾ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਚੰਗਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਭਟਕਦਾ ਰਹੇ. ਤੇ ਨਾਮ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਮੈਂ knowledge is one part of ਨਾਮ, but that's not the ultimate of ਨਾਮ.
I was talking about this context. In this context.
In this context is knowledge.
I said that very clearly. I said it has many connotations. We can't go into them here, but this context, it means Guru da Gyan.
Right. Knowledge is like ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇੱਕ ਲੈਂਪ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡਾ ਇੰਟਰਨਲ ਲੈਂਪ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਚੱਲ ਸਕਨੇ ਆ. So we need that lamp to begin with.
And the Guru is the lamp.
Guru is the lamp. Through Guru Granth Sahib, we ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕੈਚ ਕਰ ਲਏਗੀ. So then we have the lamp inside.
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
So ਉਹ ਜਗ ਜਾਏ ਤੇ then ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੈਠੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਸ਼ਬਦ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਰਹੋ ਤੇ then ਤੁਹਾਡਾ next ਜਿਹੜਾ process ਹੈ ਉਹ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ.
Thank you ਜੀ. ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ, ਗੁਰਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ.
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵੈਸੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Let's start with it's much more to do with the language, this whole Shabad. If we do understand the language, we can get it to the right spot. He follows a very strict language. If you have to write three, it has to be written with a teen. It has to be tatte nu bihari and nanne nu sihari. No other way you can write teen in Gurbani, which means three. So here it is written with, we think Punjabis that it is tinn. It is not tinn, it is tinn, but it is still singular. It doesn't come for all Bhagat, it comes for Parmeshwar. You compare it with the other one, the second one, which we said, Thal vich tinn vastu paio and Thale vich tinn vastu paio. They are equivalent. Tinn is Parmeshwar, because the Bani comes from him. And what is Thal? Thal is all the letters. Akkhars are referred as Thals in Gurbani. Guru Nanak has mentioned in Japji and also in Bhavana, in his Patti, Ivdi Aad Purkh hai Data Ape Sacha Soi, Ena Akhra mein jo Gurmukh bujha. That prevents us to call this a Shabad Guru, because he has particularly mentioned Ena Akhra mein jo Gurmukh bujha. In Japji, he stays Akhri Naam Akhri Salah. So Akkhars are the Thal. Akhri Gyan Geet Gunga, Akhri Likhan Bolan Ban, Akhra Sir Sanjog Bakhan, Jine Likhe Tisir Nai. He said, I am only writing them. Jif Furmai Tivti Paida, someone else. That tin is asking me to write. Jif Furmai. Then Jeta Kita Teta now is the most confusing Pankti we read. It's all about the Akkhars of Gurbani. It's not about something else, because the context is still continuing. I am hearing some paper is being pushed. It's a bit disturbing. Jeta Kita Teta now. The whole Gurbani is nothing. Now, which now? Vin Name. Here he says Name means all the virtues. When Guru Nanak concludes Siddh Gosht, he says, Shabde ka nibeda sun tu oddu. Shabda is what Parmeshwar has talked. Da, Tain or whether tin. Bin Name jog na hui. That there is firstly you have to go through a Name, then you go to Naam. I think we don't know this. There are two distinct Naams. One is Name, which has been mentioned in million different forms, and then Naam is only one. We have to first get the Name. The man has to get the Name. That's why he mentions in that again, jin jit khadda man tripti hai. This is for the man, not for the Satgur. Satgur will get something else, which he mentions in the Nanak Naam Milay Ta Jiva. So that is a different Naam, which is not in Gurbani. Up to Jit Khadda Man Tripti hai, Paie Mokh Dwar, only it brings up to the door. That is in Gurbani. And that is Gurbani Hari Naam Samaya, that we have to churn and get it out. It's not that simple that someone says 2 words, someone says 4 words. It's nothing in words. It is just Bakhyan. It is all explanation of that Naam. You read whole Siddh Gosht, Guru Nanak advertises for Naam but doesn't mention what is Naam. But the Naam is mentioned still there. Then the next concept which I think it need to be cleared is Thale vich tinn vastu paio. The word Sat Santokh, the Sat is the adjective of Santokh. This combination comes 34 times in Gurbani, including the first appearance in Pauri 10. Suniye Sat Santokh Gyan. So it comes as twice it comes without anchored on both. And there it clearly shows, one is used by Kabir ji, Sat Santokh ka taron dhyan. There Sat and Santokh are muktas because the word ka has made Santokh mukta. Sat is its adjective. So Sat also is mukta. That's a universal rule in Gurbani. The adjective follows, takes a lead from the noun. Santokh is noun. Sat is the adjective. So Sat Santokh Bicharo means I have put a vichar. If someone can do the vichar, he will reach the stage, as you said, Santokh. Without that, because Naam Milya Santokhiyan, that Naam which is Naam Padarat, not in Gurbani, is only obtained by Santokhis. So that's why the whole purpose of writing these letters and then becomes Shabads is just to give us Harika Naam, to give us Santokh through Vichar, and that Vichar will ultimately lead us to Naam Milya Santokhiyan. The Santokhis get that Naam because in such Khand, Satyug Rath Santokh ka, he has to reach ultimately that stage. Then Amritanam Thakur ka, he has clarified, Jiska Sab Sadharo, it should be the base of every jeev in Pavsagar, Je ko khava. It's a condition. And then Je ko puncha. Khava means he has to do it. It's a continuous tense. Je ko puncha means you enjoy it. Punchana is something like you're having a nice meal. You're not only putting it in your stomach, but you're taking a taste of its flavor of it. Tiska hoy daro, that jeev will become basically liberated. A vast. Again, he hasn't said a vastuan. So he's clarified, I'm talking about one. Taji nah jai. No one can leave this in Bhavsagar. It is must. Nit nit rakurtaro. Tam sansar. Charan lag tariye. It has to be kept in the heart. Urtaro. Tam sansar. This world is full of tama. Sansar means nothing but tama. Charan means the virtues, the names, the virtues you get from Nam, Lag Tariye. If you obtain the virtues, your mind, your man will be floating on top. Hasn't reached the other end yet. It starts to float. Sab Nanak Brahm Pasaro. That's why we say it's all Brahm Gyan. I'll mention one thing that after this, after 70 years of this, there was another thing added to this. The shaloks of Naume Mahalla added by 10th Pasha. He never moved the Mudavni. He kept the Mudavni at the same spot, but he added 57 Shabads and 57 shaloks, which shows it's a Pothi. Because in Pothi, the additions keep on happening. But in Granth, which Dasam Pasha himself says, Granth Kara Puran Tatkala, you could never add anything in the Granth because the writer has specified. Moreover, the Granth is written by just one personality. Gurbani is including 35 Bhagats. So this is my intake. I think we're not.
Anji Chetandeep Singh ji, second round on Madhavni.
Hanji Virji, I mean, I think after going through the first round, I agree that the word tin here, at least to me, it makes sense that it refers to a Kalpurak, and the Vastu, as we kind of discussed refers to one object, one vastu, that is naam. And but the word thal here is very interesting, and what helps me understand this word is thal. What makes sense to me is thal is basically the whole universe, the whole existence. And in the whole existence, Kalpruk has put this vastu called naam, right? And which we have to understand, which we have to get by through the process of uh, Sat and Santok. And Sat, Santok, which are like by reflecting on Sat. So Sat is something that we need to reflect on, but the method is Santok. By Santok, it could mean is like by being non-preferential, not having a preference towards one or the other, as Gurbani indicates in a lot of Shabad. So, and the word thal here, actually, if you look at the last line, Nanak Brahm Pasaro, I think it explains it very well that thal is the whole Brahm Pasaro. The whole Pasara is what is being referred to as thal. Uh,
Hanji Dilpreet Singh ji.
Anji, I think we can say whether it belongs to three or to the Pagats, or we can take any interpretation, whether it is the end or the riddle. But I think the punchline which I am taking with me as a message is Jeko khave, Jeko punche, tiska hoyo daru. Is that okay? The only the benefit will come this way. If you, I think at the end, Guruji is giving us a very clear message that if you want the benefit, then this is the way out. Otherwise, it is all of just false presentation or whatever we can call, that you will not get any benefit. That if you want benefit out of this, then this is the way how you can get benefited. Otherwise, it is all waste of time or show off. Thank you.
Thank you, Dilpreet. I think it is important to emphasize that despite how we kind of interpret the thin or whatever, engagement is key, right? Engagement with Gurbani. And my own sense is that if your efforts are honest, if you're really honest and if you're really desirous, then Gurbani itself will lead you to the right meanings eventually if you keep at it. So at least that's my conviction. Hanji Gurdeep Singh Vir ji.
Haji, yes, everything was very fine with me, but I can only say, if you want to know this first line, thal vich tre vastu payo, ya tin vastu payo, we have to read Maru Mahla Tija. It's talking about the whole body. Kaya andar nokhand prithvi, hat padan bajara, kaya khoje su gurmukh hove. It's talking about the body. Body is a thal to me. So it's maybe a Brahman, jo Brahman de soi pinde, jo khoje so pave. We have to study more in detail Maru Mahla Tija. Everything Guru Amar Das Ji talked there about our whole body, and within this body is everything existing. Otherwise, Gurbani save na miliye, kahal na miliye, aya chinta. With our own outward efforts, I don't think we're going to gain too much, but it's only the grace. So Jit Viji, most of the time he talks about the internal, which I agree with him. Yes, Gurbani is talking about our internal, but to more clear here, try and thin, we had to get back to Guru Amar Das Ji and read Maru Mahla. It is all talking about Kaya. Kaya under Brahma Vishnu Besha. Kaya under Nokhand Prithvi. Hat Batan Bachara. Read those Shabad, then I think the Gurbani explains itself to us. We don't have to put our own notion or anything or interpretation, but if we read more and more Granths everywhere, it's answered and other places. Thank you.
Hanji, thank you, Vir ji. So Maru Mahalla Tija is homework for everybody. Please spend some time reflecting on it. Hanji Kulwant Kaur Bhen ji.
I think I also my take is I also focus on Vishnu conjunction Guru Sahib used Jeko Khave. So my take is also that Amrit Naam Thakur ka paya, but Jeko Khave Jeko Punche Tiska Hoyo Daru. That's what I'm taking.
Hanji. Thank you, ji. Hanji Ranavir ji.
Anji, couple of clarifications, please. I agree with I think Someone said that yes, the line is "Jeko khavi, Jeko punche tiskoye odharo." That is a take-away message. That's fine. I think along with that, we need to be clear about the object of what to take away. Jeko khavi. I think we are talking about nam possibly. So that's the whole thing, the message, which is takeaway. But the two things which are not clear to me, Gurjeet Virji, you mentioned Naam two types. One is Name and one is Naam. Could you help me understand slightly this difference between these two concepts which you just introduced?
Haji Gurjeet Singh ji, the question is addressed to you.
Hanji, can you hear me?
Haji, did you
Anji.
Yes, I got it.
did you hear his questions?
Hanji, Viji, this is what the Mundavani is all about, two names. And it has been put by Satguru. Satguru is what the Parbrahm is. When you read the first one, they both help to understand each other. When you read the first one, which you read afterwards, A Mudavani Satguru Pai. Pancham, third Pasha say, I haven't done anything. It's been done by the Parbrahm. But the Brahm is here. When you get the Nama, you get Puran Brahm. Then you get to a stage of, which I normally say, cupped hands. And whenever you take prasad, until your hands are together, which is your outer and inner consciousness, you don't get the kripa. You have to join this man, the internal and the outer consciousness through name, which is known as Gyan ka Baddha Man Rahe. So this is nothing but Gyan, which is also referred as Name. Then he says, Bin Name Jog na hui, which will come in the second shlok. It is through Name that we have to do the jog, and after jog it will be Sanjog, which will ultimately take us from door to the house. This one only brings us to the door, and the Brahm has to come to the door. So Brahm is the one who is stuck in Pavsagar. That's what we did last time, the Shabad. This is the situation of Brahm. If he just starts to float, at least float, then it is Puran Brahm. Then he is floating, then he's getting across his Parbrahm. So these are the three stages. This Brahm, I think Ranaviji is asking, is all of us. Who
Are you good?
Oh, that's fine for time being.
Okay.
Yes,
So
thank
can we? Yeah, because we have about 5 minutes left, and I don't know what we want to do, whether we want to go through the next Shabad. But to me, very quickly, it simply seems like an act of gratitude, Tera kito jato nahi, that I was really not becoming of this task. That's how I'm reading it. I'm just sort of giving you my own interpretation. And that I am without any qualities, man nirgunyare ko gun nahi, and that it is really your mercy, your kirpa that has enabled me to actually give me this knowledge through the Satguru. And I think that is really the essence of the message. This is kind of an act of gratitude as I see it. So that said, Chetandeep, do you want to quickly chime in on that so we can utilize our time?
Really, I was reflecting on this Shabad and it gave me a sense of Guru Sahib is basically saying complete surrender. This Shabad
Yeah.
gives me a sense of complete surrender. But then I wanted to put out this question to this forum, to this panel. How does actually complete surrender look like in our practical life? I mean, we are so out of touch with reality that how does it even look like the complete surrender? So if someone can help me understand that.
So the question is, how does complete surrender look like in our daily life? Does anybody have an answer, a practical answer?
complaints with the order? If what is happening is accepted by you, you are in the hukum. That's it. If we have any complaints, whatever happened, then there is some sort of, you can say, uh, vacancy. Yeah, we have a vacuum somewhere. If we accept the hukum, there will be no complaints ever.
So Chetandeep, how about that?
With 4 minutes left, I'll take it.
No, it raises no. I just want to.
Hanji,
No.
Okay, Virji, it's yours. The last few minutes are open.
can you say something?
ਗੁਰਦੀਪ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰਾਣਾ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਖਤਮ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹੋ
Okay.
No, no.
ਫਿਰ I'll come to you.
Yes, listening to that answer, fine. Then it becomes you just like a boat in the water you see, and let it go anywhere wherever the wind takes you.
Yeah.
Is
So,
it
because that is implying becoming very passive, and I'm not sure that
Yeah.
that is. I'm not sure that I buy into that. We
Yeah.
can't really. So, Gurdeep Singh Virji, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੋ
Hanji,
ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਹਿ ਲਵੋ, we'll pick up on this. Hanji.
Answer to this question. I'm
Hanji.
not thorough, but Indrijit panch dokh te rahat Nanak कोट मदे को ऐसा पर्स. They're all trying. Nanak कोट कोटन में पौ नारायण de cheat. It's very hard, it's very supreme, but nevertheless, if you get the grace of the Guru, then we have to go to Guru Shan. If I talk more, we have to go to face the 5 pyaras, take Amrit, become the Guru Wale, and they were to start Naam, Simran, everything. Then slowly we can go. But I'm not there, and I tell you, but I think Gurbani has the directions.
Hanji, thank you, Ji. We have just a couple of minutes. I want to just conclude this. I want to leave all of you with one simple question. Maybe you can reflect on that. It applies to what Chetandeep is talking about. The thing is, how many of us are actually asking for Naam to the exclusion of everything else? How many of us are pleading for Naam to the exclusion of everything else? I think that is something we ought to reflect within our own lives. So that said, I want to thank everyone for a wonderful exposition, great session. Harvinder will send ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.
Oh, why?
Waheguru Ji ka Khalsa,
Khalsa, Waheguru Ji ki Fateh.